Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A video, and I've done one of these in the past. You guys really seem to like it, and I definitely wanted to be able to answer more of the questions I've been receiving on Instagram and messages, comments, etc. I just get a lot and I try to respond as much as possible, but obviously I'm one person and I'm trying to run a business at the same time. So today I put out on my Instagram stories asking if you guys had any type of questions, whether they be Poshmark, thrifting, reselling, personal, just what you guys want to know about me and I don't know, my expertise in this area. And obviously I'm just giving you my opinion based on my experience, and you can take it with a grain of salt. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the questions. As a reseller, we have to evolve to new platforms in the future. Does that scare you at all? I think change can always be a little bit scary, but you definitely have to be willing to evolve in business in general. Customers are always going to be changing, trends are always going to be changing, and platforms can be changing as well. So what you need to do is focus on your business, building your customer, kind of building your brand, and then if need be and you need to change the platform in the future, hopefully you will be established and be able to be recognized in the market, I guess you could say. So while it could be scary, I don't know, just build your brand, stick with what you know, and I think everything will be okay. How did you decide to take the leap into going full-time? So I went full-time, it was probably 6 months after I started selling, and I was just selling as a hobby, and honestly I was just kind of unhappy with my job I had at the time. I was feeling you know, just kind of stuck, not challenged, and I was really loving Poshmark and reselling, and my business was taking off, and I had started making more money reselling than I was making at my full-time job. So for me, I just decided, let's do it. I've always been one of those people that just kind of jumps into things. So yeah, for me it was just one of those things where I decided and I did it. Like, I put in my notice the next day, I think. Hi Jenna, since you do keto, what does your typical meal prep look like for a week? So I've actually gotten a lot of questions about keto, and I kind of want to start adding more keto content into my YouTube channel. Let me know down in the comments below if that's something you would be interested in. I know it doesn't go along with my typical content that I have, but I don't know, maybe I can mix it in somehow. But as far as my typical meal prep goes, I honestly don't meal prep. I am not one of those people that plans in advance basically for almost anything. I'm kind of a spontaneous or spur of the moment, do what I feel like doing kind of person. So same is true with my food. I buy, you know, keto type of foods, and then I just make what I feel like eating at the moment. I'm not a huge cook, so I eat a lot of the same things over and over, and I like stuff that is easy to prepare. But yeah, if you want to see more like keto stuff and what I eat in a day, let me know down in the comments. What is your top selling label? So for me, it is Anthropologie. Anthropologie brands, which kind of falls under the umbrella. It just goes along with the style that I sell in my Poshmark closet. Free People is a close second, but when I look at my numbers, it is Anthropologie, and honestly, I think that's because there are so many different brands that do fall under that umbrella that it pushes it to be my top selling brand. So yeah, Anthropologie is my top selling. How long did it take to build up consistent sales? I would say probably a few months, but I was posting a lot in the beginning. Like, I was really motivated. I was listing a ton of my personal items, which all had a similar style. And then when I was thrifting, when I first started thrifting to resell, I was buying a lot. So I would say probably like 4 months or so, 4 to 6 months to build consistent sales, and then I stopped my full-time job at 6 months and just started reselling full-time then. So I was having consistent sales by the time I went full-time. Do you do anything new for holiday season? So I don't really change up my closet. I know a lot of people talk about adding more new tags, etc., but I pretty much tend to list the same type of things. I don't add new tags unless it's something that I find and I would normally list. I still list the same type of items, the same type of brands. I don't really change things up too much. I'm pretty consistent with how things go, and I think used clothing still sells around the holiday time. I still have my highest sales quarter around the holidays. Do you purchase wholesale clothing? No, I don't currently purchase wholesale clothing. Not to say I won't in the future, but as of right now, I love reselling, I love thrifting, I love the margins on it, buying, you know, for a low price, and then the resale value can be pretty high. So I just haven't gotten into wholesale, not to say that I won't in the future, but no, I don't right now. How do you do shipping? I actually have a whole video on shipping, so I'll link that up above. You can check it out. The best day of the week to thrift at Salvation Army or Goodwill. I don't really thrift at Salvation Army just because the clothing selection at mine is not very good and it's not too close to where I live. So Goodwill for me, honestly, any day of the week. I like to shop on Tuesdays because if I go with my mom, I can get her senior discount. We shop together. But honestly, they're putting out new stuff every single day, so you could really shop any day of the week. Light kits and setup for flat lays. So I don't really do a lot of flat lays. The only thing that's technically a flat lay for me is shoes and accessories, which is what I photograph in my Amazon light box. I pretty much hang everything or put it on the mannequin. For me, that's faster. I have tried flat lays in the past, but it takes a lot to like set up the item, make it look good, and then you're bending over, and I feel like that's really hard on your body, and you definitely have to take care of yourself in this business. So I do my stuff hanging, and I use a Limo Studio light kit, and I have an Amazon link down in the description box below. That's all my favorite reselling supplies, and all my lighting and everything is in that store that's in that link. So definitely check that out if you're looking for lighting. You started Poshmark in 2015, but when did you decide to start reselling full-time? So I started in August of 2015, and like I said before, it was about 6 months that I went full-time. I quit my job in February of 2016. So I've been reselling full-time since February of 2016, so that's what, like 2.5 years now? Feels like a lifetime, honestly, and I love it. You always say you know your margins. How do you keep track? So I used to do GoDaddy bookkeeping, and that's kind of how I kept up with everything. That helped me more when I was really selling on multiple platforms like Poshmark and eBay, and doing some PayPal sales as well. But right now I'm pretty much primarily selling on Poshmark. I sell very little on eBay, and I'll probably talk about that in another question because I know I've gotten asked that. But I keep track now on a spreadsheet. So I have a Google spreadsheet, and I keep track of my Poshmark sales, the Poshmark fees, then the net earnings, and then also the item cost, and how much I spend on inventory, how much I spend on supplies, mileage, etc. So what I do is I update that spreadsheet every single morning from the previous day, and that way I'm able to see all my numbers. And then I also have a code that I use within my inventory to know how much each item costs. Can we be friends? Of course. I love talking to people. If you ever see me out at the thrift store, out at like Posh Fest or an event, whatever, just come say hi to me. I'm a person, you're a person. I'm not anyone special. I just post like all my stuff on YouTube and Instagram, so definitely come talk to me. Do you think your area is related to your reselling success? Good secondhand finds in my area is rare. So I think it can help you with the type of inventory that you find. However, I think you can take advantage of whatever is available in your area. So, you know, you might be able to find, you know, great prices on really common denim that's a popular seller. Maybe you have a denim focused store. Maybe you start sourcing online on eBay or Poshmark, or, you know, ThredUp, and looking for other areas of opportunity. I think you just have to take advantage of your surroundings. And while being in Atlanta and being in a big city, I obviously am able to find a lot of really great fashion. I think even if you're in a smaller town, you just need to identify what your opportunities are. If you have 15 minutes to thrift, where do you start? So I pretty much always start with shoes because I love selling shoes, even though they're hard for me to find, but they're easy to photograph, easy to list, and in my opinion, they sell pretty quickly. So I go to shoes first, and then I also like to look at the more expensive areas if I'm limited on time. So things like jackets or denim or sweaters, especially right now, just things that are in season that maybe can sell for more money. Focus on those areas instead of looking at areas that might have items that go for a lower price point, like, I don't know, shorts, or right now tank tops. We're in the winter time or the fall time. I would focus on items that are going to sell for more. What is your thrifting strategy? Do you usually thrift in richer neighborhoods or it doesn't matter? In my opinion, it doesn't matter. I thrift everywhere. And honestly, some of the richer neighborhoods, like if you're familiar with Atlanta, Buckhead, a lot of people say, oh, go to the Buckhead Goodwill. There's a ton of competition there. A lot of resellers go there. And while you can find nice stuff, it's definitely more picked over and it's more of a competition. And I think you can find just as nice stuff in all the neighborhoods and all the different parts of the city or outside the city. And also there's a lot of donation centers that aren't necessarily a store. So they're like standalone trucks or places where people bring their items to donate to Goodwill, and then they distribute that to all the different stores. So even though it's not technically in a nice neighborhood, the stuff could have come from a nice neighborhood. So I go everywhere. Have you noted a best time of day or day of the week to list new items? I personally think whenever you can list. They say most people are on the app at night and that's when they're using it. But if someone's looking for a specific item or they're, searching the app, I think as long as you have it listed, it really doesn't matter when you listed it, they're gonna find it. So I list typically whenever I possibly can, and sometimes it's during the day, but a lot of times I end up listing at night. And either way, I've never noticed like a big difference in doing sales from listing in the morning or at night. So I say list anytime as long as you can list. Have you noted a best time of day or day of the week to list new items on Poshmark? I really don't think there's a particular time of day or day of the week to list. I say list when you can. It's more important to have the inventory listed so people can buy it than waiting to list at a specific time. And I have listed, all different times of the day. Sometimes I'm listing during the day, and a lot of times I do end up listing at night, and stuff sells anytime. I think as long as someone is on there searching for what you're listing, it's gonna sell. It doesn't matter when you list it, but it's most important to just get it listed. So list anytime. I'd love to be a full-time posher, but the profits just aren't adding up. Any tips for newish poshers? It definitely takes time to build it. Make sure you're listing lots of inventory. I think start really cultivating your closet and building a closet or a store that people want to shop at over and over. I think having repeat customers is really key in this business because, it's having those repeat customers and bringing new people in and then having them repeat that's really going to help you build your business. So I think by cultivating or curating a specific store or style, that's really going to help you. So start working on that, but it's going to take time and you just have to keep going. Don't stop. How many items do you list in a typical day? I don't have a set specific number of items. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my last Q&A video, but I list based on the dollar amount. So if I have a dollar amount that I want to sell average per day, I try to list new inventory that equals that dollar amount. Or sometimes I have a bunch of stuff I want to get listed because I want to go shopping the next day, and I personally wait to go shopping until I have everything listed. So I don't have a set number. It really varies. I'd say I probably average anywhere from 10 to 30 a day, and that's on the high end for 30, but 10 to 30 I would say. Someone asked how old I am and when my birthday is. So I actually get this question a lot. I am 33 years old and my birthday is in January. I'm a Capricorn. I think I answered this question last time too, but I see it a lot, and it's what do you do about cases that are open, how to reply, and how not to let them get you down. So when cases get open on Poshmark, it happens to everyone. I have cases open for sure. It doesn't happen frequently because I try to be pretty accurate in my description of my photos, but it's gonna happen because you cannot always please everyone. You just have to remember that this is a business. Do not take it personal, and make sure when you're responding to respond in a professional manner. So if you are getting really emotional about someone opening a case, maybe don't respond for a couple hours. Like walk away from it and just think about it and calm down. Maybe talk to like a friend or family member and vent if you want to vent to someone, but respond in a professional way. So try to understand their point of view, put yourself in the buyer's perspective and see where they're coming from, and just respond as another person to another person. And also Poshmark is going to help you out as far as viewing the case and reviewing everything. So just be professional, don't take it personally, and don't respond right away if you're emotional. Around how many hours does it take you to go through the Goodwill store? So my Goodwills are pretty big. I go through all the men's, all the women's, and the shoes, the bags, the accessories, and it usually takes me, I would say average about 2 hours. I'm pretty fast. I don't always look at like every brand. I know I don't look at every single brand label as I'm going through the clothing racks. A lot of times I am feeling items, looking at the quality of the fabric. As you start thrifting more and more, you will get faster at doing it. I also talked about this in one of my favorite videos, but I listen to music. I have my own headphones, and for some reason that makes me go a lot faster as well. But I would say I average 2 hours for a Goodwill because it is pretty big. Smaller thrift stores I can do in like 30-45 minutes. For fall, are you team apple or team pumpkin? I'd have to say team apple. I hate pumpkin spice lattes. No, I cannot do them. So I love apple stuff. I can't eat apples on keto, so I haven't had an apple in a while, but team apple and apple picking, I think that's so fun. What's your biggest goal for the rest of the year? So I actually have 2 goals that I am focusing on the rest of this year, and for Poshmark, my goal is to beat my sales from last year by 10%. So I want to have a 10% increase over last year. And then for YouTube, I also have a goal because I've really been focusing on YouTube this year, and I have a subscriber goal as well as a video goal, an amount of videos that I want to have posted. So yeah, I'm trying to hit both of those goals by December 31st. What is more effective for cover shots, stock photos or original photos? I just had this conversation with my mom yesterday, actually. We were talking about stock photos and original photos, and stock photos, you know, use those at your own risk because you're not supposed to use any photos that you don't own. So if you take a photo off of Google, you're not the original owner, you don't have the copyright, so technically you're not supposed to use stock photos. However, a lot of people on Poshmark do use stock photos. I've used them. Yeah, so make your own decision. However, with cover shots, I have really been trying to just use my own original photos. My reasoning behind this is because your original photo is going to stick out more in a bunch of listings where people have all used the same stock photo and the listings all look the exact same. If you have your own original photo, your item's gonna stick out, and people also really like to see the actual item they're buying. So even if you have those photos within your listing, if it's the first photo and it's the one that gets them to click, they know it's the actual item they're buying, I think that causes them to click more. So I recommend trying using original photos. How often do you send out offers to likers? I have a video about offers to likers that I made about a month, I think, after the feature came out, and I still stick to the same strategy, and that is sending out offers to likers once a week. Actually, I think I've been doing every other week recently, so I don't send them out every single time someone likes the item. I don't send them out every single day. Me personally, I just wait to see if the item sells, but also for an item to really get a bunch of likes on it. And I just like to send those items or those offers out once a week or every other week and do it to my entire closet at once. It does usually cause me to have a huge sales day on those days, but I want to give the item the opportunity to sell and for other people to make offers, and it takes a lot of time to go through and make offers to likers, so I don't spend as much time doing it except for that one specific set time. This job gets very repetitive. How do you remain motivated doing the same thing over and over? Honestly, I love what I do. I mean, I don't get bored. For some reason, I don't mind doing it just because I love it. I enjoy it. I love the clothes that I find. I love sourcing. I like photographing them and then listing them because I like to sell. I want to make money, and yeah, I just enjoy it. But for motivation, I think seeing other people doing what I'm doing, so I really like being a part of the Instagram community because I just learn from so many other resellers. So I think being on Instagram, seeing other people doing it, and then also changing up your scenery. So working from home definitely can get repetitive for sure. So I like to work from coffee shops or, you know, other places that are outside basically. Sometimes I'll even just go to like my mom's house and work from her house, and I find that I'm more productive because I'm changing my work environment. So try that if you are getting bored of doing something, change up your environment a little bit. Do you participate in share groups? Do you think they help with sales? No, I do not participate in share groups. I did for a little while in the beginning, but I don't think it helped with sales, and it's a huge commitment, and I just didn't feel like it was worth it to me. So I don't really recommend share groups. I think you should just share your own closet as much as possible, and then share brands that you sell, share listings of brands that you sell or other people's items from your feed. I just don't think share groups are really worth the time personally. That's my opinion. Has Lululemon ever questioned your items you bring in, like bringing in a lot of different sizes? So if you're wondering what this question is about, I've talked about it a lot in my Instagram stories. If you thrift an item, a Lululemon item that has something wrong with it, you can bring it to the Lululemon store to get fixed. For example, I had a drawstring that was really messed up in a pair of Lululemon leggings. I took it in, they fixed it for free. I had a logo that was coming off, I took it in, they put a new logo on for free. And then right now I actually have a jacket there that had a broken zipper on the pocket. It was a men's jacket, so I took that in and they're fixing it for free. So if you find something Lululemon with something damaged on it and they're able to fix it, just take it to a Lululemon store, and I've never had them ask any kind of questions. They're more than willing to do it. They really stand behind their product, and they're usually super helpful, and they do stuff so fast. Like, they usually have it fixed within a couple days. So that's just a pro tip. Take any kind of damaged Lululemon into the store and see if they can fix it. If they can't, they can't. How do you prevent sketchy buyers from making a case? Do you take pictures of the item before sending? So I don't even think I've ever dealt with a sketchy buyer. I know they're out there, and I see people posting their stories of things that have happened to them, but the amount of sketchy buyers compared to good buyers is so minuscule. I feel like that's like a 0.001% compared to the other customers. So there's so many good customers out there. It's just a small amount that might try and take advantage of the system. And as long as you are really thorough with your listing, with documenting, you know, measurements and photos of everything, and you have a really good record on Poshmark, for instance, if you've sent out, you know, hundreds of sales and you've never had an issue, Poshmark's probably gonna stand behind you. They're really good with it. I don't spend any kind of extra time like photographing my item with the shipping label or anything like that I've heard people do, or like videoing me you know, packing up an order. That would just take way too long and take way too much of my time. So if something does happen with a sketchy buyer, I just would chalk it up to the cost of doing business. But I really haven't even had that issue, and I've had over 6,000 sales on Poshmark. So try not to worry about that as much. Just, you know, think of everyone as an amazing customer, because most of them are. Do you buy Dymo brand paper for the label writer? Any suggestions for paper? So I've bought both Dymo labels and just the off-brand labels. I have both linked in my Amazon reseller favorite supplies. The link's down in the description box, and both of them work fine. I've never had any issues using the off-brand of labels, and of course I've never had issues with the Dymo brand. I will say I do have a promo code coming up soon with Dymo, so stay tuned and you can get some good deals on Dymo labels. Do you do closet consultations? No, I don't. I really, I don't know. I don't know if that's something I will ever do. I really try to provide as much info as I can to everyone via YouTube and Instagram. I haven't done anything that's like individual. I did do closet consultations at Posh Fest last year in 2017, and that was really fun, but I just don't really have the time or that part of the business set up right now, and I don't know if I ever will. So hopefully these videos are helpful. How long have you been thrifting in general? So just a couple of years now. I was not thrifting until I started selling on Poshmark, and I started selling all my own clothing, and then one of my coworkers at the time took me to Goodwill with her on our lunch break, and that's when I really started thrifting. I had been in thrift stores in high school looking at like stuff for costumes or t-shirts, but I never knew what was actually in a thrift store until, I don't know, it was the end of 2015, so that's as long as I've been thrifting, I guess almost 3 years. I'm always inspired by your videos on YouTube. Thank you so much, that's so kind. More day in the life of a reseller, please. Yes, I want to do more vlog style videos. Those are definitely coming. So thumbs up this video if you want to see more day in the life videos. Do you always leave new listings at the top of your closet, or do you sort them in? I sort them in. I mix stuff up all the time. I do try to leave my brand new listings at the very top, especially if I've done like a haul video or shown stuff on Instagram. I want people that are coming to my closet looking for those items to see them right away, but I like to mix up my old listings with my new. I don't push all my old stuff to the bottom because I want everything to sell. Do you share your items to parties on Posh? I usually share my items to the night party, but I don't spend the time during the day sharing the party to the other parties. I don't know, I don't really have the time, but I wish I did. What do you contribute to helping you stay motivated? For me, I'm super goal oriented, and I'm gonna be honest, money keeps me motivated, you know, having sales, making money, and also you guys. Like, I get so many messages from people that tell me I've helped them to start paying off their debt, or they started thrifting with their daughter. It's made them closer. They love having their own business now. They were able to quit the job they hated. So in addition to like achieving my goals and making money, the comments and messages from you guys, like, that gets me and that keeps me going every single day. Do you think sharing others and following others is a big part of making sales on Poshmark? I think sharing others is definitely a big part. I don't spend a ton of time following. I've never been one to do like the follow a ton of people every single day, but I do think it's important to share not only your closet, but to share others as well. Would you ever be an Amazon seller? I tried Amazon. I think I sent in like 3 boxes to FBA. Maybe it's probably been 2 years now, and the stuff sold, but I just didn't enjoy it, and I don't really have any interest in private label or trying to, you know, start a product and sell it on Amazon. It's just not my passion. I really love clothing. I really love curating my store and having a brand, so I don't know, Amazon probably not for me. But I'd like to know more about reselling to do with having a business license. So you don't have to have a business license to be a reseller. You can be a sole proprietorship. There's other, you know, you can do an LLC, you can do an S Corp. There are a lot of different options, and most of it has to do with tax purposes, so figuring out what's the best for your tax situation. I recommend talking to a CPA or an accountant and have them help you figure out what's best for you. Tips for recognizing altered clothing, jeans in particular. So jeans, I think, is actually the easiest to recognize for alterations. So when you look at the hem, you can usually tell based on the stitching that it's been altered. So the fabric is thinner, like they've cut it off and they've just folded it under, and then they've restitched it, and the stitching doesn't usually match the other stitching. Like, the color might be the same, but the quality and thickness is not usually the same. So I would just start paying attention to jeans that aren't altered, regular hems, and then you'll start to really notice the ones that have been altered. What do you put in the size box for an item you don't have a size for but only measure? I just estimate based on, you know, other items that are similar. So say I have another t-shirt that I'm listing that I don't have measurements for, I base it on other t-shirts and the listings on those, and then I put the estimated size. I just make sure to say in the condition, doesn't have a size, estimated, please check measurements. Is it possible to sell full-time, make decent sales without advertising on social media? Yes. I was not on social media for at least a year and a half before when I started reselling, and I was full-time already and I was making great sales. And then I also, when I started social media, obviously I did not have a following and I wasn't really using it a lot in the beginning. So it took me like a year or so to really build a following. So 2.5 years of me not being on social media, and I was having great sales. So you do not have to, but I definitely think it helps. I recommend it because that's just the way people shop these days. The ways people find you is through, you know, Instagram mainly, Pinterest, just using other social outlets to drive traffic to your Poshmark closet. When you calculate net profit, do you subtract total spent sourcing or cost of goods? Yes. So you want to subtract the amount you paid for your item from the net earnings on Poshmark, and that's how you get your profit. Okay, I got a ton of questions on dating and my relationship status, because you guys know I don't share like a ton of personal info, although I do share a lot of my life. But I am currently single, so I have never been married. I don't have any kids. I've been in long-term relationships. My last relationship ended in January of 2018. It was more like the end of December 2017. So I have been single since then, and I honestly have hardly dated at all since then as well. I've really been focusing this year on my business. I pretty much always focus on my business, but I haven't even really tried to date. Like, I haven't put in any effort. And I also had a really big family emergency. I was basically a caretaker for one of my family members for 3 months, and then yeah, working and doing all that at the same time. So I have not been dating. I'm currently single, and I will probably start dating again in the new year. I think I'm gonna wait until after fourth quarter and after the end of this year, but I definitely should put myself back out there. It just takes a lot of time. If any of you are single right now, this day and age, like using online dating or dating apps or just going out and trying to meet people, like, it is almost a full-time job in itself. So I have to be prepared and ready to put in the time and effort, but I do need to do that. I just am currently not, so I'm single. When starting, is it safe to wait to buy a mannequin, lights, etc., or is it worth investing right away? So I don't think you need any of it to start out with. When I first started for, I don't know, at least 6 months, I didn't have lighting. I modeled my own stuff and I had my mom take pictures outside, or I would just lay it on the floor and take pictures, and I didn't use any kind of special lighting. So it's definitely safe to wait. If you have the money to invest, invest, because it does make life a lot easier to have like the lighting and you're able to take pictures at any time, but you don't need it. And I don't use my mannequin or dress form that often. A lot of times I will just hang my item on the wall on a command hook, which is very inexpensive. I think they're like $3, and you can hang that near a light or near a window and use natural light. So you don't have to invest, but if you want to, go for it. Do you ever have days where you don't sell anything? Are there slow, lull times in your closet? I got a lot of questions about this too. So I haven't recently had any days where I haven't sold anything because I do have quite a few items in my closet right now. I think I'm at around 650 active listings. So I pretty much sell at least one item a day. Some days are definitely slower than others. And then some days are, you know, really huge sales days. So it's kind of unpredictable, and that's just how the sales cycle works. And I've been doing this long enough, and I worked retail for a long time before doing this, that I know things are gonna level out. So that's just how it is. So you can't get discouraged when there are slow sales days, because there's always going to be a day where things pick up. You just have to stay consistent. So even though you might be discouraged if you're having a $0 sales day, still keep listing, still keep sharing your items, because the sales will come. It's just a roller coaster, and that's how it always is. If we could figure out the key to extremely consistent and growing sales, I think we would all be yeah, super happy, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Do you ever take a day or two off from Pashing? Yes, I try to take one full day off every single week. Well, I still share, so I can't say I'm taking the whole day off, but I won't do any other type of Poshmark work. So one day off a week, and then I will take time off to go on trips and things like that, where I'll still be sharing, because for me, that's just like part of my life now, but I won't be doing other stuff like, you know, sourcing or listing or photographing, etc. So like for Posh Fest coming up, I'm not going to be doing anything but sharing, and then I have a trip planned with some of my college roommates, and I'm really not going to be doing anything during that time. So yes, I do take time off. Would you ever open up a consignment storefront in Atlanta? No, I will never open a physical store. I love online selling. I love being able to reach a larger amount of people, and physical stores just have so much overhead. I really don't think that's where it's at these days. I think the internet is the place to be. Do you see yourself doing this the rest of your life? Yes, I see myself doing this in some form the rest of my life. I might not be as active, or I might be doing it, I don't know, in a different platform, or I don't know how I'll be doing it, but I see myself reselling or selling stuff in some way for the rest of my life, because I absolutely love it. I love the thrill of the hunt. I love the thrill of the sale, so it's just my thing. Favorite brands to pick up lately? Honestly, my favorite brands are still pretty much the same. Free People, Anthropologie, Johnny Was, if I find that. I've been finding a lot of Show Me or Moo Moo. I like that. Denim, a lot of denim lately, and it's still a lot of the same denim brands that were popular last year. So Madewell, Frame, Rag & Bone, those are ones that I tend to pick up pretty much anytime I see them. How often do you share your closet? Share my closet 3 times a day. Do you think daily listing is a must in order to make daily sales? No, I do not think you have to list every single day, but I do think you need to list consistently and multiple times a week. So I wouldn't go like a week and wait to list everything in one day. I would try to spread it out at least every other day, but I don't think you have to list every single day, but you do need to share every single day. Will you do a Posh Fest video? What we can expect? I'm going to my first one and I'm nervous. So I'm trying to get a video up before Posh Fest, but honestly I don't know if I'm gonna have one up about Posh Fest before Posh Fest, but this year I do plan on vlogging both days while I'm at Posh Fest. I want to show people what it's like, show you what you can expect, and yeah, I think that'll be really fun to do this year. So I'm gonna have some vlogs up for people in the future to access, and you know, just have some resources to see what they can look forward to. But just know, don't be nervous. Everyone there kind of has similar interests. You're all into Pashing. People love to talk about their Poshmark business, what they do, what they sell. I didn't know anyone my first year, and I met a ton of people. Just sit down at tables, even if you don't know anyone, sit down and start talking to people. Come find me and say hi because I love talking to everyone. But yeah, try not to be nervous. It's super fun and just a really inviting and warm atmosphere. Opinion on eBay, new policies, and your reason why you're not as active on there as you were before. So I did get a lot of questions about eBay, and if you follow me or if you followed my eBay store before, you see I hardly have any listings. At one point I had over 1,000 listings, and right now I have less than 30. So I decided to back away from eBay. I made this decision a couple of months ago, and I'm primarily focusing on Poshmark and YouTube. I had to really look at myself and look at my businesses and see where my time was best spent, because I am one person and I have all these ideas and things that I want to do, and I have to follow my passion. So for me, I started out on the Poshmark platform. It's where I typically have always made the most sales, where I've really built a customer following. I have a curated, cultivated store, an image that I've built, and I don't know, it just made more sense for me to continue selling on Poshmark and focusing more of my time and effort on that. I was really spending a lot of time cross-posting similar or the same inventory, and you know, having to spend the time deleting one off of the other. But also I was making YouTube videos at the time, and that takes up a lot of time, and I really love doing YouTube videos. So I just had to decide for myself where my time was best spent, and I decided based on my business that Poshmark and YouTube is what I should be focusing on. Now, I don't know a lot about the new eBay policies. You can definitely still make sales on there. I think it's a great platform, and who knows, I could sell more on it in the future. But right now with my eBay strategy and really what I'm doing is just listing random stuff on there. I have the very basic store subscription. It's Empty Hanger Closet on eBay if you want to check out my store. Like I said, I have less than 30 listings. I'm listing hard goods on there, which I can't sell on Poshmark, and just like cool stuff I find at estate sales. I've been listing a lot of vintage items and selling those on eBay. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just primarily focusing on Poshmark and YouTube right now, but eBay is a great platform still. What's your best advice? How to gain momentum for consistency of sales. So to gain consistency of sales, you need to be consistent in all areas of your business. So I think sourcing and listing consistent inventory, or really a specific type of inventory, because that way your customers know what to expect when they go into your store or shop your closet, and then you're able to build a repeat clientele as well as increase your cart size. So you want to be able to sell more bundles, make more money, so having items that are similar, that definitely helps. And then also listing consistently, if not daily, every other day or every couple days, and then sharing every single day. That's really going to help you, and it just takes time. I mean, I didn't have consistent sales for at least 6 months, and until I had a good amount of listings in my closet, like maybe 300 or so. So just keep going. I kind of talked about this question before, but I want to address it again. Do you use any app for keeping track of your expenses, and how do you do taxes every single month? So I don't use an app anymore. I was using GoDaddy bookkeeping when I was doing a lot of eBay and Poshmark, but now that I'm just doing Poshmark, I'm really just using a Google spreadsheet, and I just enter in the next day every single sale that I had, and then, you know, what I spent on inventory, mileage, etc. And then I don't do my taxes every month. I just give everything to my accountant at the end of the year when it's tax time, but everything is already done, if that makes sense. Each day it's already done, so then at the end of the year everything's done. And then someone else also asked about taxes and having money set aside for taxes. So what I do is I base it on my estimated tax payments. So estimated tax payments are quarterly. You have them 4 times a year, and it's based on the taxes you paid the previous year. So I have these payments that are due every 3 months, and I know exactly what those payments are going to be. So I have a separate account at my bank where I put my savings, my tax money, money I want to put away towards retirement, etc. And I divide that out weekly into how much I need to put away to pay those quarterly tax payments and to have some money left over. Now, if you sell more than you sold the previous year, you're obviously going to owe more than just those quarterly taxes, because that's based on your sales from the previous year. So if you sell more, you'll owe more. So maybe putting a little bit more than what you want to save and what your quarterly tax payments are into a separate account, and doing it weekly will keep that money aside and basically out of sight, out of mind, and then you'll have it ready when you need it at tax time. I hope that made sense. What motivates you to keep doing Poshmark every day? I love it. It's my job. It pays all my bills, so I need to have that financial income, but I just truly enjoy it. What's your favorite thing to do on a day off? Honestly, I love to pamper myself because it's just like that time that you have for you. So I like to get my nails done. Sometimes I'll get a facial. I like to get a massage. Just, I think treating yourself on your day off, and then also just doing something you enjoy doing. So whether it be like going shopping for yourself, or I don't know, going to see a movie, just something that takes your mind away from reselling is what I enjoy doing. And then I also got this question a lot, and I know you guys are curious, do you pay Grandma Hanger for her boxes? And we do have a business arrangement, and I will leave it at that. Please explain relisting. Do I have to take all the photos again and rewrite the whole ad? So no, you don't. For relisting, it just means deleting the old listing. You are gonna lose all your likes on it, but it's fine because it's stale and no one's bought that. You can literally screenshot and use the exact same photos, and you can copy and paste your description as well. I try to change up a little bit of the description and maybe add some new keywords, or add something a little bit different to change it up, but you don't have to totally redo your listing. It's just deleting and then relisting it, the same thing again. And it boosts it into the just in search results. Do you stick to a schedule, or do you do things differently every single day? I'd say a little bit of both, but pretty much every single day is different. But for me, I like to share right away in the morning, and I also like to get my shipping out of the way, and I usually do that in the morning. And then as far as the rest of my day, it's different every single day, and that's what I love about this job. So sometimes I might go sourcing, I might be photographing, I might be listing, making a YouTube video, you just never know. So yeah, every day is different, but I pretty much start off every day sharing, doing like emails and work, and then doing shipping. Okay, this question kind of goes along with the having social media to make sales. She said, how does Instagram make you money? Do you just enjoy community, or does it feed your YouTube views? So I think it's a little bit of everything. I don't really make money from Instagram, like specifically, like I don't get paid to do Instagram. I'm not that like big of an Instagrammer. I know some people get paid to like have posts and things like that. I don't. I genuinely started my Instagram because I wanted to be a part of the reseller community and just meet other people that did what I do, because it can be lonely doing this job at home and not knowing anyone. Like my real life friends were probably so sick of hearing me talk about Poshmark, and now I can talk to all these other people about it. I also love learning from the community. I find out all the time about brands or different, strategies and things like that that I wouldn't have known if I weren't on Instagram. And then yes, it is a tool of marketing, so it does drive people to my Poshmark closet and does cause me to have sales, because I'll post hauls or pictures of inventory, and the people go to look at my Poshmark closet to see if that's for sale or if I have other items for sale. And then it does push viewers to my YouTube because they want to see the type of content I'm producing, hopefully more ways of learning different ideas and strategies. And I do make money from YouTube from ad views, but it is nothing in comparison to like reselling. Reselling is definitely my main income. Poshmark specifically is my main income. Do you do personal thank yous to your customers? I do not. I did personal thank yous for a while in the beginning when I started, but it is just not as feasible anymore to do them daily, depending on like my sales volume. And I didn't find that it was absolutely necessary. While I think it is nice getting a thank you, I just package my items nicely, professionally. I put a little branded logo sticker on there, and I always get great feedback about my packaging. So for me, I feel like that's almost my thank you, is providing them a great item that they wanted in amazing condition, packaged very nicely. What's your biggest tip for seasoned sellers looking to up their sales? So my tip, and I feel like I've said this a lot in this Q&A video, is to really focus on building a repeat clientele or repeat customer base, because that's how you're really going to increase your sales. You want to have people coming back and spending more and more and more every time. So in order to do this, just make sure you're providing quality merchandise, you're providing a consistent style or items that people are going to want to add to their closet and build based on their past purchases in your closet. So kind of having a cohesive look of everything that goes together. But in my opinion, building a repeat customer base along with increasing your cart size or the bundle size is going to really help you to boost your sales to the next level. I noticed the sold items in my closet can't be deleted. Will they eventually go away? People ask me this all the time because I have like over 7,000 items now in my Poshmark closet, and over 6,000 of those items have sold. So it looks like I have a ton of items even though I don't. And no, your items are never going to be deleted. Poshmark does this because they want to have full transparency and show what items have sold before, that you've sold stuff before, that you've kind of established that you are, you know, a trusted seller, I guess, and also just transparency on pricing and things like that. So I don't know, eventually they might start deleting older sales if they need the bandwidth, but for now, like all my old sales, my very first sale is still on in my Poshmark closet. How do you handle inventory that just doesn't move? So I try to relist the item. If I've had it for a while, like maybe 6 months or more, I will relist it and see if it sells that way. If stuff is just not moving, I will try to take it to local resale shops and sell it there and just make some money back on the item and buy something else. So like Plato's Closet or Buffalo Exchange, or you could send it to ThredUp. And basically I just want to get back my cost of goods and buy something that I think will sell. But I keep stuff for a long time. Like I have stuff that I've had for a year. I'm pretty patient. What's your biggest tip for Posh Fest that hasn't been said? And I would say ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Go up to people, raise your hand in sessions, go ask questions of Manish, Team Posh. Everyone's pretty open, but if you have a question, don't hold it in. I'd say ask it. You can choose one celebrity to model your Posh listings. Who would it be? I would want to pick someone that kind of fits in with the aesthetic of my closet, and right now I think that's Hailey Baldwin. So if you guys are familiar with Justin Bieber's fiance, or maybe they're married by now, but I think her style is actually really similar to the type of stuff that I list in my Poshmark closet, so I would have her model my listings. Would you ever move out of state? If so, which state? Never say never, but I love Georgia. I love my house, so I don't think I would ever move, but if I were to move, it would probably be somewhere warm near an ocean, so probably somewhere in California, like Santa Monica. I loved Santa Monica. Would Grandma Hanger ever make her own Poshmark closet? No, because she just loves shopping. She doesn't want to list or share or ship, and I don't blame her. Shopping's the best. Why do some people say not to use flat rate boxes to ship, and or do you have to charge shipping if you use poly mailers? So no, you do not have to charge shipping if you use poly mailers. You can use any type of packaging that you want. I just bought a coat on Poshmark and someone sent it to me in a diaper box with the label on, and it made it to me just fine. So poly mailers I just do for a fun touch, but the priority boxes and the flat rate priority boxes you can use from the post office, and those are free. Some people say don't use the flat rate ones. I think because their post office gives them a little bit of difficulty around using it. They're not as informed. Like every post office I don't think knows that Poshmark has this deal that you can use flat rate boxes, but you can. So if you have any problems with your post office, email support@poshmark.com and they'll give you a letter that you can show your postmaster, and you shouldn't have an issue after that. Okay, I think this question's about Posh Fest, but I cut it off. It says, do I need to bring like a tote or personal bag? I mean, is it all right if I do, or will Poshmark provide something? So for Posh Fest, usually you get a swag bag, which is in a tote, and it has a bunch of stuff in it. So you don't necessarily have to bring like another big bag with you, but you totally can if you want to. Just bring like your purse and use that tote bag. But honestly, you don't need to bring anything special with you. Poshmark provides you with anything you need. So there's usually like a notepad or a notebook and a pen, and then a bunch of like fun free gifts, and yeah, there's a bag to keep your stuff in. I personally am bringing a tote bag because I want to bring my camera. I want to bring these little pins that I made for Posh Fest to pass out. Some people bring business cards, so just depends like how big of a bag you need, but don't feel like there's anything special you need to bring because they provide anything you're really gonna need. That's it for my Q&A video. Hopefully that was helpful to hear some of my answers, my thoughts, my ramblings on the questions that you all had. I think I'm gonna try and make these videos once a month because I got some really amazing questions, and I don't think I was able to get to every single one, but I didn't want to bore you guys to death and make this video too long, but maybe I kept you company while you were doing like shipping or listing or something like that. If you enjoy Q&A videos, give me a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel because I have some really fun videos coming up, and I will see you soon. Bye.